We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
What's up, you beautiful collectors and Ghostbuster fans? Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, something I'm very, very excited about. Today, we're having a look at the Hasbro Ghostbusters Plasma Series 1984 Ghostbusters NEUTRONA WAND prop replica. And this was something that I don't think a lot of us really fully expected until recently, when Hasbro did a live stream and you could see this in the background, and it automatically got people's kind of imaginations running wild. Like, are they going to be giving us a 84 Ghostbusters NEUTRONA WAND? Maybe even an 84 Ghostbusters Proton pack? Who knows? But this dropped relatively quickly. What we got before with the Ghostbusters Plasma Series was the Spangler's NEUTRONA WAND, which was based off of how it looked in the more recent Ghostbusters Afterlife film. But that definitely had some modifications done to it over the many years from that first Ghostbuster movie to the more recent Afterlife one. And it showed how Spangler kind of tinkered with it some. This, though, takes that all the way back to how it originally looked, which for me is exactly what I wanted. Sure, I absolutely loved the Spangler one, and I love the Afterlife film, and I'm really looking forward to Frozen Empire. But it's that classic look that really appeals to me. So for them to be releasing this is an absolute joy. Now, starting off first with the package. While I don't have that original one anymore, it is very similar to it. You have this little slip sleeve thing. It just kind of slides on there, and then they have it taped on. But you can see you got the NEUTRONA WAND, the Ghostbuster Plasma Series, all that kind of stuff. Top section here has a real cool artistic image. The underside here has instructions and how it actually functions. It is all basically the exact same. The only real differences are going to be cosmetic, which you would expect because this is the original one. Spangler's in Afterlife was modified from this version, so it makes sense that it would still very similarly look to it. But the box here, you can see, is much cleaner. The Afterlife one was a lot more dirty, had more elements of rust. Now, granted, it is all just cardboard. It's all just the design on it, but I really like it. Also, the warning stripe here goes this way, whereas the other one went around that way. But also, I love this. You got this EPA security seal on here that is signed by none other than Walter Peck, which we know from the trailers is going to make a return in Frozen Empire, which I'm, again, very excited about. Top section here says NEUTRONA WAND. The back, you just got the little hinges and things of that nature. And then much like the other one, it just lifts up just like so. And then you have the NEUTRONA WAND on the inside, which we'll take a closer look at here in just a sec. So I am super, super geeked out about this because this is still based off of that Spangler one. Obviously, it is still going to be cross-compatible with the Proton pack that we got, but I'll touch on that here in a little bit. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get it out here and see how cool it actually is. And here we have the 1984 Ghostbusters Plasma Series NEUTRONA WAND opened up and out of its packaging. And this is definitely the version that I have always wanted. I love what they were able to do with this. And it's interesting. I've watched a couple other videos on this, and I don't necessarily understand some of the criticisms, because from what I can tell, it's pretty damn accurate. Now, starting off first, setting this guy off to the back, you do get a display base, which is basically the same that we got with the Afterlife version, except it's done in a slightly different color. So you can see this is the Afterlife version, just like that. And although I think I have the thing like kind of assembled a little bit differently because the No Ghost logo is upside down on this, but I could just swap that around. But you can see that it is basically identical. It's just this is done in a kind of blackish gray kind of plastic, whereas this one, I actually really like what they did with this. It's got this green army sort of look, but then you got some like rust elements, so it does have a little extra paint detail on there, which looks really good all the way around. It's really nice. And then you have this logo right here, which it's just a sticker, I feel, but that's actually kind of cool that they put that on there with the NEUTRONA wand. And yeah, I feel like I can just swap that around. Or maybe it's... No, that's right. I mean, why did I have it like that? It's like it was backwards or something, but this is essentially the way that you're going to want to display it. So, same basic thing. I love the fact that they include it because it does make a very nice display case for it. Although, there we go. You get it on there. That looks really good. I think that's fantastic. You also do get this hose accessory thing. If you wanted to kind of customize this yourself, attach it to, maybe one of your own packs, you got this little bit here which can plug in, still push the battery compartment in that section, and then you can plug a hose. Now, one thing that is different, though, I'm going to set this here, actually is the back section. Now, I'm going to bring in the Afterlife version, but one thing that I want to kind of touch on is you can see the bottom section here. This little screw bit right here, this is basically the same, but now you have this actual screw section that locks it in there. You don't have that on the original one, which I'm not the biggest fan of, to be totally honest. I mean, I kind of like having it like this. This definitely makes it look a little bit more toyetic, I guess. So I don't like that sort of thing. That is kind of lame, honestly. And then just setting this off to the side because I don't want to focus too much on that just yet. This, though, is amazing. You can see that you can put that in there. Now, one other big difference that you're going to notice is that they started putting this orange cap on here. The version that I got, oh, jeez, I'm knocking everything down, was one of the very first versions that was released. And that has this silver cap on it. Subsequent releases of the Afterlife version had the orange. Now, you can't just get a silver Sharpie, and I've seen people do that, but I don't like that. They put that on there because of safety reasons. Who's going to really kind of confuse this with an actual gun? I mean, guns have to have this little orange cap. I get it, but that just seems completely... I'm sure that they're required to do it. I just think it's a really dumb idea. But overall, absolutely terrific. You can see that, again, in terms of the differences here. I might as well just kind of do that right now. One of the biggest, obviously, is going to be the handles. You can see that this has the little, it's rubber, but like this tape kind of effect. You no longer have that here. You just have this. Now, I don't really know how I feel about the like little paint rub on there. They got that on all the areas. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I wish I was just kind of black, but it does show wear, and you can see a lot of the silver elements. Also, like this silver, this is very, very extreme. The other little bits, you got some silver all over the place. Everything on here has a little bit of that wear. Now, the Afterlife version has a little bit more on it because it's older looking. Like, for example, around this bit, you got a lot of that silver element kind of painted on there. Now, sculpt-wise, it's essentially the same. A few minor changes to it, like with the handles and such, but for the most part, it's basically the same. But you can see that this is a little bit cleaner because this is older. So even when you look at the stickers, those are worn a whole lot more on the Afterlife version than on the 1984 version, and I like it. And you can see like a lot of extra silver on there. Molding wise is the same, so people have complained about that, but honestly, and I keep this over here because that wire was like way over here and it was kind of annoying, so I'm gonna try to force it to stay over there. But people were kind of complaining about the different, well, not really the different, but like the fact that this is all molded in the same thing. I don't mind that, though, honestly, because this eventually becomes this. So it's kind of like showing that wear and that kind of dinged up sort of look has always been there, and it would naturally carry on to this. The other real big difference is the lower portion of the handle, that being this sort of shotgun sort of thing. You have that, and then you have the regular fingerprint section here where you can, or not fingerprint, but your finger rests right there. But again, you got the little brown elements on there that I'm not the biggest fan of that. If I were to critique that, I would definitely say that I wish was gone. The other thing that people like to kind of point out is the clipper valve here. If you take a look at it, I don't know how I'm going to show this. The Afterlife one is actually shorter. So let me see if I can do it like this. This is a lot here. Kind of getting that lined up. This is actually a shorter valve than this one is. And people are talking about the accuracy aspect of things. I don't really know if that's really entirely true. And I say that because taking a look at the original one by Matty Collector, you can actually see that, pushing this back, that the clipper valve on this one was always longer. You can see very clearly that the Matty Collector one had a longer clipper valve than the Afterlife one. And that's replicated here with the new Hasbro version quite nicely. You can see that, because these are all basically the exact same size, but you can see that that valve is the same length as the one that was made by Matty Collector 10 some odd years ago, something like that. I mean, the only real difference between these that I'm really kind of noticing is you got this wire section here, which carries over from that guy. Obviously that sculpt is the same. This one doesn't have that. There is no wire there. And that's the only thing that I can really see that's different. But also people don't like the fact that this was painted. Now again, the Matty Collector one, I mean, you just have the paint on this bit right there. So that is a little bit different, but you can see that that carries over with that. And then up here, again, people were talking about the orange on... There's so much stuff going on here. The orange here, and how on the Matty Collector one, as well as the new 84 version, it wasn't painted like that. So you can see it's black there, it's black there. They painted it on that one. So again, I just see a progression from going from this design to that design. And it fits in terms of, like, my thought process on things. So, like, the complaints about the clipper valve and stuff, I don't really kind of follow that. Just because it looked like that originally. So, I really do dig this. I think that this is a great kind of recreation of it. I don't like the orange, but again, I can just get like some silver paint and put that on there. That's not that big of a deal. And then out of the box, this wire was, like I said, kind of in the way here where it was going to get like that, whereas this one kind of sits off to the side. So like this, very easily though, I can like kind of wedge, there we go, and just kind of warp that around just to kind of get that plastic in shape. Now, in terms of the functionality, it's all the exact same. All of it is. The lights, sounds, the electronics, everything identical. So again, going through the starter, I still don't like that you have to hold it like this. I actually kind of like that one because I can hold it like that, and I feel like because I'm right-hand dominant, I'm going to be controlling where that stream is going to be coming from a whole lot better by getting a grip down there. So it's the same kind of complaint that I had about the original one, but it is accurate, so it's going to be like that. Now, in terms of the activation, again, you get the light up section right there, which turns it on. This bit right here gets the power thing going. You can adjust this section down, which increases the vibration and the rumble. I don't know if you can hear that, but you can increase that. The light turns on there. That light turns on, and then you flip the switch here to activate it. Oh, no, actually, I didn't. What's going on? Hold on. There we go. And again, you can hear the rumble. This section lights up a little bit more. That starts blinking. You can adjust this. You can hear the sound increases as the intensity increases. You can bring that down. And then you can actually use the intensified beam here. Now, you always want to kind of pull this to get that to extend. And then let's activate it. Again, you got the light up section. Turning the lights off again, you can kind of see all the lights that are going on there, and then the pulsating sort of lights right inside there. Very, very nice. If you hold it down, it still will go through that overcharged sound. Hitting the orange button up by the trigger again changes it into the different sort of modes that we saw in the video game. So, for example, the slime blower mode. You get a slight flash of the green light. You can hear the change in the sound with the churning of the slime, and then I love that. Hitting it again brings up the ice one. I forgot what that was called, but getting super, super cool. Getting that. One more is the like Hadron blast or whatever, but That is so cool. And then again, bringing in the original one that we got, we can go through the... And again, all the lights, identical. Flipping the switch, getting that to extend out, and that just turns off. And you can go through the exact same sort of thing. And it all sounds identical, so let's see. Go through the startup process on this. And then let's see if it sounds exactly the same. Oh yeah. Good. I almost kind of like that sound, having both of them go at the same time. That is fan-freaking-tastic. And then collapsing that, cycling that down. And then again, it does have the exact same functionality with the Proton pack. All you have to do, and I'm not going to bring that out just because that's hanging on my wall and it's very complicated. But you just take this section, you rotate this off. But again, I don't like that extra little screw bit right there. That's annoying. And then you take out the battery compartment, get that out, slide that out, and then you plug the attachment for the Proton pack inside there. And then you have essentially a 1984 Proton pack, because realistically, they did give you the stickers. That was one of the stretch goals. I didn't put the stickers on. I'm not a big sticker person. But you can put those stickers on there, which kind of replace the worn out looking ones, and create a more, again, 1984 look for it. I mean, I love this. This is my preferred version of the NEUTRONA wand. I mean, I don't know why that's kind of weird. This is... Let's see. There we go. That's acting kind of funky. But everything about this, top notch. I absolutely adore it. I think that they nailed it with it originally, and again with this replica of it. It is just a perfect, in my opinion, version of that 1984 NEUTRONA wand. I think that they did an amazing job. Again, there are elements that I'm not a big fan of. I don't like the brown on here. Some of the silver is a little bit overkill, and I don't like this orange cap. I get why they have it on, but I'm still not a big fan of it. But this is, one of the most amazing things is back 10 years ago when, Matty Collector was doing these, one thing that a lot of people were really hoping for was a Proton pack. I mean, they did a lot of different things. They did the PKE meter, they did a ghost trap, the goggles, and now we are getting the PKE meter, we are getting a new trap, we got 2 versions of the NEUTRONA wand, as well as a Proton pack. Literally the only thing left to do would be the Ecto goggles. I don't know how they could do it, and, the Matty Collector ones weren't very good, so that, if Hasbro decided to do it, I'm sure it would be tremendously better than what Mattel did. And here we are in the 40th anniversary of the Ghostbusters franchise. 1984 to 2024, we're getting a new movie, we're getting new props, there's more toys coming out. As a Ghostbuster fan, this is the absolute best time to be a collector. I don't know what else that they could really give us in terms of props. I mean, I would love like a Geiger or whatever it was called, that little handheld sort of thing that had like little swirly lights from Ghostbusters 2. That would be cool. But I mean, I don't know what else they could give us. They have been just spoiling us. And at $120, I really feel like this is a terrific value. Again, 10 years ago, even before that, going all the way back to the early 2000s, these had to be custom made and cost thousands of dollars to get like full Proton packs. Here we are 20 some years later, and we're getting absolute wonderful representations without paying all that money. Now granted, if you pay that money for a custom, it's going to always look better. But for a mass release item, great job, Hasbro. Seriously, you guys are nailing it. And I cannot wait for fall of 2024 to get a new trap and PKE meter. But there you go, guys. There's my look at the new Ghostbusters Plasma Series 1984 NEUTRONA wand. Now, I picked mine up through Amazon. For that, I'll put a link right down there in the video description where you can get yours yourself. But also right now over at the Hasbro Pulse website, there's a pre-order for these available. I'll put a link right down in the video description as well for that. But either way, if you're a Ghostbuster fan, this is absolutely one that I would recommend adding to your collection. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. As always, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. And until Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, remember, I ain't afraid of no ghosts.